Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome to another week, another episode of the Medicine Ball Podcast. You could have chosen to spend your time anywhere. You rock with me today. Thank you. I never take that lightly. Before we get into it, let my beat drop. Yes, that's right. Welcome to Medicine Ball with your boy LS3 to be exact. And if you ain't in shape, at least your brain should be. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Medicine Ball Podcast, where we focus on giving your brain a six-pack by exercising your mind. Now, exercising your mind means that you actively think about and deal with all situations by first seeking to do anything other than what you are normally programmed and or comfortable in doing. Now, if you're someone who struggles and wants to get better at thinking about things beforehand, as opposed to reacting in ways that require less effort, well, just like anything you want to get better at, it does require training, practice, and work. Now, I'm well aware that thinking about things beforehand as opposed to responding off instinct does require effort. And who doesn't prefer things that are easy? Well, the first step, my friends, can be very easy, and that's to begin to look at all things from an unbiased point of view, which in itself will increase your curiosity in life. Now, exercising your mind won't give you all the answers. You will, however, begin to look at things with more peace, understanding, and patience, while simultaneously equipping yourself with more tools and strategies to help you effectively deal with this thing called life. Now, before we go any further, I'm no doctor, no psychiatrist, no psychologist. I have, however, been diagnosed with bipolar disorder level 1 for 16 years. And to be honest, I got to a point in my life where I was looking at the person I was becoming versus the person I wanted to be. And that, among other things, required me to look at my mental health responsibly. So whether or not you're diagnosed or know someone who's diagnosed or have symptoms or just want to know more about it, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're one of the many people who could just use some tips, tricks, and different ideas to help you get through day-to-day life. Pull up a seat, kick up your feet. ELE, everybody love everybody. This is your home, no judgment zone. Welcome to Medicine Ball. I appreciate you. This week's episode, Season 3, Episode 13, Chopping Wood. Let's go. Welcome to another week of the Medicine Ball Podcast. Chopping Wood, real quick announcements, merchandise, due to the overwhelming request of that. What's basically going to happen is I think I'm going to end up setting up some type of Etsy page or something of that nature. So follow along, more of that coming. When it comes to video, I've still been recording videos, but I want to keep you guys reminded, man, it's going to be awesome because the content that you hear strictly on the podcast versus the content that you'll see on YouTube and everything, it's going to be the same topic. Like this week is chopping wood, but it will be different. As I'm learning about, recording video and audio issues and all of that, it just does not make sense, guys. I'm not that good to be able to put enough pressure on me to record the live podcast and the live video that I'm actually going to be using. It's a lot of things behind it with the audio files and syncing and everything, but I'm not to that point yet. Got to crawl before you walk. So I'm aware of that, keeping aware of that. And the last thing, like, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff, man, on all my social medias. My group on Facebook has really been increasing in numbers, man. Shout out to that. Anyway, it's Medicine Ball LS3, Medicine Ball LS and the number 3 on all your social media platforms. The Facebook group is Medicine Ball, all right? You'll be able to see it and notice the icon or my insignia, rather. Let's get right into it, man. Chopping wood, man. So you guys already know, man. So I was journaling, man. I was journaling. And even as I was journaling, I was talking in my journal about my to-do list and my task list and how I, on some days when I'm a little bit more frustrated, like I feel like I don't get enough done and there's something marked on my to-do or task list. And me personally, man, I don't know about y'all, but my apps are very, very good at making you feel guilty and keeping it in your face that there's some things that you didn't do or that are still there or might be past due. And it's just like, hello. Like like my particular app right now, after so long, when I pull down my notifications or whatever, it will say, hey, I'm sorry, reminders aren't working for you. We'll go ahead and turn them off. And it makes you go, but long story short, they don't turn them off. But it made me go into the app the first couple of times. So all of that to say, man, chopping wood. So just as I was speaking about notifications, I did some research, man. And the average smartphone user in the United States of America, right? The average user, so that means per average, gets 46 notifications a day. 46 notifications a day. And I'm getting this information from businessofapps.com. 46 notifications a day. Furthermore, there's another percentage of that where it's like because of just one notification from that particular app, the user either turns off their notifications on that app or disables that app altogether. So an example would be like if it was your banking app and the notification that says, hey, are you good today? Like me personally, my banking app has something weird that does that. Because of that one notification, they just turn off all the notifications for the banking app, and now you don't see what's going on with your debit withdrawal. Long story short, what's going on there is we're prioritizing what we think is important and what we want to bother us and what is visually okay to us, especially when it comes to our phone, something we look at a ton. We prioritize when we're turning off those apps and whatnot, unsubscribing. We prioritize what's important. So what that really is a strategy when it comes to your notifications, right? That's a strategy when it comes to your task. And the idea about chopping wood, and this is a story I'm about to get into and tell that I've told on a previous episode, but now I could just do so much more with it. The thing about tasks and whatnot, and I always say that, and even goals, because whether you have a to-do list, I'm pretty sure you're somebody who has something you want to do in your life. You have some type of goal. You have some type of, dream or something you want to accomplish, even if it's anything like, I want to go see my favorite artist in concert, or, hey, I want to lose some weight. These are all things that somewhere, even if it's not on paper, you're writing down, and there's steps you're going to have to take to get there. Chopping wood. Story time. So a long time ago, many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, in an African village, there was a young man coming of age, becoming a man. And, sometimes in those cultures, there's a whole process or celebration when you come into a man. And he was feeling pretty braggadocious, feeling confident in himself. And, there were women who were looking at him as an eligible male. And he comes into the village and he's kind of saying, hey, I'm the strongest guy here. No one's as strong as me. Showing off for the women. Nobody here could ever outdo me in any test of strength. And there was an older man in this village, a wiser man. And he kind of was getting annoyed with the young man's arrogance and cockiness. And he challenged he saw that the young man, was in front of the women. And he challenged him in front of the women like, I beg to differ. Test of strength? Let's have a wood chopping contest. As a matter of fact, you're younger than me. You should be stronger than me. I guarantee you I could chop more wood than you in an hour, and I'm willing to prove it. So, of course, you know what happens. He's showing them up in front of these young ladies, right? The young man just gets irate like, oh, man, what? Are you kidding me? Stop. Oh, say less. Let's get the wood. Let's get the axes. Let's begin. So they meet at high noon. It's the hottest. Everybody's active. And they set the stage for this wood chopping contest. And all the women are there for the young man. He's kind of flexing. You know what I mean? The old man is there. And, there are children from the village. Everybody's there. They set the timer. Go. They begin chopping. Now the young man's just he's youthful, he's strong, he's just getting it in, chopping as much wood as he can. He's so arrogant, in fact, that he stops and looks over at the old man to see what he's doing, and he notices that the old man is actually sitting down. He chuckles to himself. He goes back, man, I know I got this. First of all, he's older than me, man, and he's sitting down. He's sitting out on the job. Good luck. Looks over again. About 30 minutes in, he sees the old man still sitting down. I know I gotta win this. He continues to chopping. It's about 10 minutes left. He looks over. Can you believe it or not, man? Can y'all believe that this old man was still sitting down? Time. So they get up, and the older man actually has wood, so he had to be chopping at some point. They look at his pile, they look at the young man's pile, and they had to get together and discuss it. And it wasn't like it was even close. They had to discuss it to figure out what had happened. Why did this old man win this contest by chopping more wood than the young man? The young man just couldn't believe it. He saw the pile of wood, but everybody's there. It's no magic. It's no secret. And the young man's just like, man, how is it that you chop more wood than me, old man? You got me, OG. How is it that you was able to chop more wood than me, man? Every time I looked over, you was sitting down. How? How, Sway? Oh, man, chuckled. It's like what you didn't realize is, yes, I was sitting down. But you didn't notice what I was doing while I was sitting down. See, while I was sitting down, I was actually sharpening my axe so that my axe was sharper and I could be more efficient chopping wood. Ladies and gentlemen, end of story. Now, let me elaborate a little bit on this whole chopping wood thing. Now, I know that it's probably been said for years and it's a concept that's been practiced for years, but let me tell you where I first started hearing it like enough to be cemented into my mind. Now, on my climb up this corporate ladder, stepping into upper management, I had an operational manager. He was a brother, so I felt a little bit more personable with him. I felt like I could talk to him, so it would just be casual days when I would hit him up. And at this time, I was going through the management process, or pretty much a manager with no management tools, so it was very frustrating some days. And I would hit him up, and just me just trying to think about other people, be more kind, et cetera, et cetera. Always ask him like, yo, man, how you hanging in there today? You always see my face. How you doing? He just be like, yo, just chopping wood, man. Just chopping wood. And, I got it. We get it, right? The idea is you're just working. You're just continuing to do that. But let's look at that a little bit further. Now, chopping wood in itself, I don't know about you guys, but my grandfather, rest in peace, was from Alabama. And I can't even remember. It was one of these back road places that was so country. It was close to a place called Utah, Alabama, Eutaw. It was like maybe the exit where the dog racing track was, but it was off in the country. And all of that to say, like, when I used to go visit my great grandmother, his mother there with him, he would have us chopping wood, and he's chopped down a tree, and it's just a tedious process that you continue to work at. You continually, literally chip away at that hard process or that goal to get the tree down until it's done. So let's go circle back to the story, man. When he was sharpening his axe, he had a task. He had a goal or an aspiration, something he wanted to achieve, if you will, right? Him sitting down and sharpening his axe was a strategy to achieve that goal. And in fact, in his situation, it was a goal that seemed insurmountable. So I want to circle all the back around and use the story and give y'all 3 things to kind of look at chopping wood, handling your task, handling these goals and these dreams you have. Even for me, like, I want to get to so many followers and get on video and all of that, man. These are lofty goals, I would like to think. And there's certain things that you have to do every day along with life to make it happen. So let's get into it, man. Number 1, how do we get into this, get more efficient at chopping wood, or take this mindset of chopping wood using the story? Number 1, and I tell myself this all the time, man, the first thing we have to realize is action is not equal to progress. Listen to that again. Action is not equal to progress. Let's use the story, man. He wasn't chopping and swinging his axe every time the young man looked over at him, but he was sitting down, strategizing to make sure he can accomplish the task with the least amount of work. Sometimes, and me included, I think we get these task lists and we, we just go right into it. Like, how often if you get one of these task list app or something, you just throw everything on there, man, I want to do it. Like, even for me, I use myself as an example. When I first started, now, of course, I have advance my task list beyond this, but when I first started, it was like, yo, I want to read a chapter a day. Yo, I want to practice Spanish for 30 minutes a day. I want to work out 30 minutes a day. I want to pray 3 times a day for so many times. I'm not Islamic or anything, but just focusing on it. Yo, I want to make sure that I have time to God each kind of day. Yo, I want to make sure I post 3 times a day. And it's just like, nah, we have to actually plan these things out and look at them. And I am the biggest person as an example, because I still don't like to write stuff down, but I have accepted it, man. I got a whole whiteboard up in front of my face, sticky notes everywhere, even with the journaling. We have to make sure that we're planning and making sure that we're putting tasks before us that are achievable or at least reasonable. Nobody wants to see a failed goal or dream. And this is going to go right into the second thing you do, but nobody want to look at something that they, had confidence in themselves that they could do and just can't achieve it. That sucks. We have to realize that action is not progress, man. We got to take time to plan and really think about this stuff, man. And that goes right into number 2, man. You got to be real and honest with yourself. You have to understand what you're capable of and your ability. And this is if you want to chop wood, if you want to accomplish tasks efficiently and effectively. You got to be honest with yourself, man. You got to realize what you got going on. And that goes back into the first setup of planning, man. We tend as human beings to think very, very highly of ourselves, right? I want to be an astronaut. I'm just going to go do it. Let me dumb it down. I want to be a business owner. Let me just go do it. And even in the story, man, that young man didn't, I mean, in the story, the old man didn't say, yo, let's have a contest to see who could pick up the most of these young women. Nah, man, he was wise, and that comes with age and experience. He was wise enough to be like, man, I could probably, outsmart him and still use what I got, right? Man, you have to be honest with yourself and understand your abilities and the situation you're in. I'll use myself again as an example. I love music, y'all. I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to beat production, the workings of the music industry and things of that nature, you guys. When I started taking on responsibility and managing things better, started setting goals for myself, like, yo, I want to make 5 beats a day. And, it would have outside influence, of course, because I'd be on YouTube looking at these young dudes like, yeah, just click, 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 click. Now, mind you, I'm somebody who bro, I want to create that joint. I want to make sure that it tricks your mind when the chorus comes. I'm just going to spend time on it. So me saying I'm going to make 5 beats a day, knowing how tedious and how much of a perfectionist I am when it comes to that music producer thing, that ain't a realistic goal, man. That's going to get me smoked, right? Because if I'm doing 5 beats a day and, I take one day off not to work and, that's going to be 30 beats a week, bro. You a whole manager. You got a podcast. You got a life, bro. You got responsibilities, man. You feel me? That's just like, you got to understand and be honest with yourself. And really, this should include humility, right? I talked about this last time. I always pray for humility, even with this video and this podcast. Who the hell do I think I am? And I'm just about to click and be straight. Nah, man. Know where you at, realize your abilities, man. If you're not the best person when it comes to saving money, you might not need to set a goal to have a savings account with 5 bands in it in 6 months. Why are you going to do that to yourself? And that goes to number 3, which directly curtails off of that last one, man. We have to delay our self-rewards. This one is heavy. I'm going to spend a few extra moments on it talking about it. We have to delay our self-rewards. And you know what? I might go ahead and expound upon this on next week's episode, man. As human beings, our reward system is all messed up. Because there are many, many, many opportunities in which we can reward ourselves and we just choose to do it. So, for instance, maybe I want to watch the basketball game right now. Man, I'm trying to run a business. Bro, I got to get this podcast out within a certain amount of time. Boom, 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 boom. I catch the next game. Or for instance, there's a piece so I'm plant-based. Side note, plant-based, you guys, does not mean that I don't eat anything but plants. That means that I get a majority of my calories and intake each day from fruits or vegetables. That's what it means. Now, on top of that, I just happen to very limit my dairy and a couple of other things. But all of that to say, man, there's a piece of cake down here that looks down in my refrigerator that looks delicious, right? When I think back a few years ago when I was younger, man, I would probably go grab that cake. I want the cake now. But I'm not going to eat that cake until after I finish up what I need to do with the podcast and some other work, right? And all of this comes together with something else, discipline. Delaying yourself a reward is equal to discipline. So back to the cake. If I just go downstairs and be like, man, who cares? I could just eat the cake right now and it's all of that. We mess up our reward system. Now, here's the big part. Y'all ready? Why is it dangerous to mess up your reward system? And it's the same thing as when they talk about on these, like me, I'll be watching a lot of documentaries and stuff. So when they talk about drugs, yeah, man, this just gives your body a reward system and it messes up your reward system. Yeah, so does having a Coca-Cola just because you can. You know what I mean? This is what messing up your reward system does. It makes you entitled. And so if we go back down these steps, because we get entitled, which means that we're just supposed to get things just because, we start setting these goals and these dreams that aren't reasonable because we're entitled. I was on social media today and I see this all the time, but today it stuck up in my mind. Somebody was like, man, I'm claiming it right now in the name of Jesus. You're going to get $9,000 by the end of the month. And like, it just don't make no sense. Like, how do you think you're going to get $9,000 without working for it or exchanging some type of service for it? Number one. Number two, if you do get $9,000 without doing anything for it, it came from somewhere. That's a sense of entitlement, man. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, yo, I wish I get $1 million by the end of this episode. Yeah. But just like these folks I'm not going to say in the name of Jesus. It don't work like that, bro. We reward ourselves constantly, man. Whether it's something we got to do at work and we decide just to take off, or whether it's knowing we need to get up and handle some paperwork or handle something with our credit and we decide to go play the game or take a nap. We have to delay our rewards, and that instills discipline, man. I'm telling you, I look for little ways to reward myself. I got a Mike and Ike problem, y'all. I love Mike and Ike's. 25-cent box joints, man, I be killing them. But just because I like Mike and Ike and I can eat the Mike and Ike right there, why not be like, yo, bro, at least do the podcast or at least eat your salad first before you just eat your Mike and Ike? The reward system for us is already skewed. We need to try to reel that in because it causes that entitlement, and that sets us up for failure when it comes to setting these tasks. We just get these tax things and these reminders. Oh man, yeah, man, things I want to do. Yeah, I'm a tithe. Like for me, I'm a tithe 10%. I had to go do some research and really look at that and understand what that was about. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go be a rapper. Okay, there's a jillion rappers. One of my frat brothers just hit me up. Let's start a record label. Now I'm flattered, you know what I mean? Like, and humbly, like I know I'm knowledgeable about it. I'm good with music and all of that, but I understand, like, bro, who's gonna go talk to Spotify and go deal with these record companies? Who's gonna watch this artist that you talking about as the next little baby? Like, who's gonna babysit them and make sure that their tracks is on point? Well, you do music and you're in bar. Okay, yeah, man, that's me. That's me. I'm dependent on my abilities that I can control. So again, the last one was delay yourself, the reward. It instills discipline because here's the thing about it, man. If you want to do anything that's worth a darn, and the average person, like I said, we think highly of ourselves. We got these big goals and these big aspirations, and these are broken down. And I'll get into this in another situation, but basically anything you want to accomplish is broken down into a bunch of little minute things that you probably have to do each and every day, right? So that's where a lot of people who are business minded, these task lists and things of this nature comes from. But if we're not doing the things that I just talked about, realizing that action isn't progress, planning, understanding your ability and being honest with yourself and your situation, or delaying your reward, if we're not doing those type of things, and there's many more that I can go into, and I'll actually save those for the video version of this episode. But if we're not doing those things, man, we're not going to set task lists that are friendly to us mentally or friendly to our overall goal. All right, especially that delaying the reward. Y'all know me, man. I like to sneak in little life hacks. That delaying the reward, like I said, it just builds discipline. And like, if you're somebody who has these tasks you can't overcome, man, like I get these notifications all the time of stuff that some of it that is time critical. I got to take care of it. And some of it is stuff that, you know, people would consider as not crucial, but just things that I want to get done. Like, man, put that box of Mike and Ike in front of you. Finish what you got to do, and then eat the Mike and Ike. That's going to help you, number one, build discipline. Number two, is going to help you knock out some of these tasks and chop this wood, man. Sharpen your axe. If you want to go out and take a vacation to Miami and you got some type of business, man, at least put aside the money for your business operations first. Me, for an example, I can't make 5 beats a day, man. It's too tedious. But I can spend an hour with something associated with the music production, whether it's learning a melody trick or notes or something like that. That will eventually sharpen my axe so that I'm more efficient with these beats for these youngins that like these little quick thrown together stuff, all right? And y'all, I'm going to wrap it up. Season 3, episode 13. Chopping wood, man. That's what I've been doing, y'all, man. When it comes, like when I look back on Medicine Ball, or even when people humbly come up to me and tell me what they think about Medicine Ball and what I've done all right. Like, I got to look at the things that I did accomplish, man. Like, yo, I wanted video by this time. Might not get it by this time, but can I get it? Maybe I can learn video production in the process, which is a headache. But yo, it all comes down to, doing things that help us to instill belief in ourselves, right? And I know it's a lot of you listening, man, who maybe not in every situation, but in a lot of situations just have lost belief and you don't believe in yourself. And I say this every episode. I believe in you, man. Sometimes all people need is somebody to believe in them when they don't believe in themselves. I believe in you. You got this, man. Pick your head up. Take an extra step, man. Whatever is something that you can celebrate with, set that on the other side of whatever your task is. You got this, man, all right? Yo, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Like, subscribe, share, follow on all social medias, Medicine Ball LS3. Until next week, video coming, man. I've been cooking for y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate the support. Stay up. Yeah.